Hello and welcome to another episode of Business 24 here on iBrandTV. I am Michael Nath. On today's episode, our focus is on specialization in business and how best to leverage to scale up. Undoubtedly, businesses are emerging daily, and there seems to be no slowing down in sight. In 2021, Nigeria obtained 1.52 points in the Startup Ecosystem Index. That's according to data provided by Startup Blink. Nigeria was ranked 63rd out of 100 countries worldwide, considering this indicator. In Africa, it emerged as the third leading country for startups after South Africa and Kenya. Clearly, starting a business in Nigeria could be easy. However, the major challenge is sustenance. Now, according to the latest the Better Africa report by Week Tracker, an African digital media company failure rate for startups in Nigeria, Africa's biggest economy has averaged 61% from 2010 to 2018. Now, the big question is how the adoption of business specialization can change this narrative. Let's take a break now. When we come back, we continue from where we started. You're warmly welcome back. Now, joining me to discuss specialization in business and how best to position yourself as an entrepreneur to scale up. Is Omotala Lawson. Omotala Lawson is the managing director, Delightful Toy Shop, an organization that specializes in children's toys and early learning materials. Thank you very much, Omotala, for joining us on the program.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. For a start, can we get your explanation of what specialization in business is all about?
Okay, so I really like this topic, and if I want, going by what Google says and what the dictionary says, specialization.
I would rather have what you say.
No, I'm going to break it down.
Okay,
I'm going to break it down, but let me just start from there. Okay. So specialization involves focusing on one product or a limited scope of products so as to become more efficient. So that's breaking it down. Yes. So specialization says, I know I can do everything, but because I can do everything, I don't have to do everything. Let me choose where I can put in my best foot and make the most out of it. Specialization says, everybody is not my customer. Let me choose who my customers will be and see how to position myself so that I make the most out of that market. Specialization says I don't want to operate in a shallow way. I don't want to just be there. I want to go deeper. I want to be the first point of call when this need arises. Specialization simply says that you discover your own niche, or your niche, as it's called, and you hold on to it and follow through to make the most out of that market. It's always very interesting because, of course, in business, you see different people doing different things. Some feel that, no, you don't know what will sell now, what will not sell now. And then it's more expensive trying to do everything. If you want to be more productive, at a cost-friendly way. If you want to be more productive and more impactful, and if you want to grow, if you want to be identified for something, then specialization is what you should be talking about.
Quite insightful. Thanks very much for that. Now, how popular or how much do businessmen and women of today know about specialization?
Well, how much do they know about specialization? I think that's left to each individual perspective and understanding of business. But I could relate that to what I do.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
So I run a toy shop.
Okay.
And when we started off and said we wanted to sell children toys, it looked ridiculous. And some of the feedback we got was, you only sell toys. Why not sell clothes? Why not sell shoes? Why not sell back to school items? There were always lots of suggestions coming. And we could have diverted to doing those as well so that we meet the needs of the same market. But we knew that if we wanted to be the go-to toy shop that has practically everything, knowing that funds are not unlimited, if we wanted to make the most out of the funds we have, then we need to choose one line. So in the example I gave now, if we had said, okay, let's do, if maybe you are starting off your business, let me just call a number, and you're starting off with 10 million naira, for example.
Okay.
If you can't compare putting the whole of the 10 million on a large variety of one category to splitting that 10 million in, okay, 1 million will be for baby shoes, 1 million will be for clothes, 1 million will be for baby food. You have a little
kind of variety.
You have a little of everything,
okay,
but there's a larger chance that people will come and will not get what they want. There's a larger chance that when people come the first time, they won't come again because the little you have, they found what they want there for that season, and you won't be relevant to them in the next season. So taking that from, like I said, I can't say what everybody does.
No, yeah, let's start with your own area.
Yes, from my perspective, I would say that specialization is one thing that we chose from the onset, and it has really helped us with our story.
So you don't even mind the things you are not getting, that's from the customers who might need them, that are aside from toys. You don't mind about that? So
if you have the mindset that there is a need, okay, I think one first thing that is important that I should mention is that when you are specializing, you also want to have done your research to a reasonable extent. You can't specialize on a space that is too narrow.
Okay.
Because if it's too narrow, then the needs you are meeting are quite limited. But if you are specializing in something that has roots, has space to go deeper, you can't exhaust it. You can't exhaust it. And if it's even easier for you to have an identity, because there are so many people that sell children stuff. So many people sell children clothes. If you want to buy shoes, you probably won't think of my brand.
Of course, because you specialize in one aspect of business, and that's toys.
Exactly, and because we are specialized in that, over the years, that has determined what our choices will be. That has determined the best use of funds. That has determined even our posture in the market. Okay, how do we want to brand ourselves? Where do we want to be found? That has determined a lot of things. So yes, we've not gotten money from all the avenues to make money from in the space of children's services.
Okay.
But the niche that we have held on to, we are doing our bits there.
Now, for a particular aspect of business to work, for instance, you're dealing in toys, location also matters, doesn't it? For instance, if you find yourself in a location where majority of the inhabitants or residents have little or no need for toys, you go out of market. So what do you do to ensure that people around, that you are in the right place for the right people?
Okay, I like that, and I'll try to calm down so that I don't use all my time to respond to that.
It's okay.
Now, particularly post-COVID, things are taking a different shape for entrepreneurs.
Sure.
For me, I don't really believe that your market is your immediate environment. Depending on what you sell, of course, but in this example about maybe selling children's stuff, or there's so much happening online.
Okay.
If you have, maybe I'm staying in an area that has 100,000 people within the age range of those that my products would appeal to. Wherever my store is, I might not have more than 5,000 people pass by the place every day. they might all not need it at that time. So if I really want to build my business model based on the walk-in traffic, the footfall, that might not be the best use of my time. In this day and age, there are many people that don't even have physical stores. They sell from their homes. In fact, businesses are closing down their physical locations to operate from their home. If they're selling on Instagram and the sales that come in from that online space is more than what comes in when you're opening up your doors with the regular dues, the rents, the overheads that go along with having a physical store, you'll find out that in most cases it's actually overrated to have a physical store. Yes. And even for those that have it, if they do have an online presence, if you touch base with them, you'll find out that the chunk of the business that comes in from online is not the same thing as the footfall. That's very true. That's very true. Okay, now. So if we are linking that up with specialization, if we are linking that up with specialization, it makes it, okay, in Nigeria we have about 200 million people. If I'm going online, if half of the 200 million can see me, maybe just 5,000 will be interested in me. And the 5,000 will look for me and they will spend good money with me. I'm fine. As long as you have what they want. What they want. Because one has chosen to specialize, you have more capacity to meet their needs. Because sometimes the way business is, the customers might not really be specific about what they want until they see the variety of options that you have. So because specialization gives you more depth and more capacity to be ready to meet the needs, and with the right positioning online, with the right kind of adverts, you will draw people. So for example, if I'm saying, okay, I don't sell school bags, but if I just say back to school items, school bags, people that are not looking for school bags will not come. Definitely. But every parent looking for school bags will see that. And now tell me something. Experts, we have been made to understand that most businesses do not survive the second year of their existence. What has specialization, if any, got to do with this? Lack of it? I'd say that specialization helps with getting your identity. Okay. And just as we have with humans, with us as humans, if we don't have our identity right, our life keeps going because we are not sure. Identity keeps changing based on who we are with, our environment, per time. But once you know who you are, wherever you are, there's a constant. So if you specialize early in business, it helps you to get what you are in for and makes your journey to growth and progress and profitability much faster. So I'll say that for businesses that don't thrive, of course, there are so many things that affect it. Nigeria, for example, is a tough terrain. It is. There's no doubt about it. It's a tough terrain to run a business in. But that said, sometimes, for me, what makes it work is, okay, there are some things that are within your control and some things that are not within your control. There's no point in bothering about what's not within your control. But for what is within your control, reduce the moving parts. Specialization helps you to reduce that because you are focused on what your core is. You know your core, and that is what you keep building up on. Even when there are mistakes, right? Even when there are mistakes, you still have room to make up for it. As against doing a little bit of everything and all. Okay, let me not talk about toys. Let me relate it to, I was talking to a friend last week, coincidentally, and we're talking about, he's a tailor. Okay. So he makes bespoke, he does everything that tailors do. He can sew lovely outfits for men, for women. He can make t-shirts. And we were talking and I said, the truth is, if people know you that, okay, anything that has to do with needle and thread, they'll call you. You can't compare what will happen to if they know you for something in particular. So if, for example, you choose that you want to do t-shirts, if you begin to make so much noise about T-shirts, when I think of T-shirts, maybe we have an event and we want to have 200 people making T-shirts, you will come to mind. And you'll be able to position a lot of T-shirts to make me feel that I have a variety to choose from.
Yeah.
You'll give me comforts in dealing with you because I'll feel that you have a wealth of experience that every other tailor does not have. So specialization, as long as the business owner finds that line and gets confidence with it, it makes your customers feel very, very comfortable dealing with you. Yes.
Thank you very much. We're just starting, like we don't. We have so much to talk about, meaning we'll take a brief break now. When we come back, we continue from there.
Okay.
You're still watching Business 24 here on iBrandTV Lagos. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we pick up from where we dropped off. Stay with us. You're welcome back. It's still Business 24 here on iBrandTV Lagos. And in this discourse, our focus is on specialization. A specialization in business and how best to position yourself as an entrepreneur to scale up. And I still have very much around here Omotala Lawson, who's the managing director, Delightful Toy Shop, an organization that specializes in children's toys and early learning materials. We're back on the track again.
Good to be back.
Now, some entrepreneurs appear to have apathy for adopting specialization strategy. What could be the reason for this?
Oh, well, you know, we all start business based on for different reasons, right? So some start up and then they run it based on the experiences they have. Some start off and maybe they were working with someone that was running a business before, so they just take over from where that person was. So because we start business and we operate our businesses based on different premises, it's understandable that everybody would have different perspectives towards this. But if, well, once again, I'm not coming as an authority
no, but
in that.
Out of your wealth of experience.
Yes, I'm not coming as an authority in that, but something I can say for sure is that if you want to make a difference, if you want to go beyond the level of those that you started off with, I mean, even those that trained you in the business, sometimes you have to unlearn some things. So the fact that you had some level of apprenticeship or business exposure to people that didn't specialize doesn't mean that you have to do it that way. Find out what the ideals for your industry will be. There are specific needs that exist in the market. And if there is one specific need, you get the answer, you get the key to meeting that need. You don't need many keys. You don't need many keys. But we also know that we all deal based on our level of exposure and our preferences. So while I won't say that non-specialization is a bad thing, I'll say that specialization just is an easy way to retire early. It's an easy way to retire early because when you are specialized, one, you are going deeper. You even help your staff to be more productive. You help them to be more productive. It doesn't always have to be all about you because there are so many moving parts, and it's only when madam is there or Oga is there that some decisions can be made, because you are doing the same thing
over and over
again. But it's important that you identify the problem you're solving, because every business has to bring value. You have to be solving a problem. Once you can identify that, you don't even need to do trial and error. Now, I also want to bring in some other angle to say that the fact that you choose one line doesn't mean that you are sentenced to that line for life. You can start it off, establish it well, put the team in place, put your structures in place, and then start a second line of business.
Quite different from the first one.
Quite different. So, for example, I said I do children toys now. Maybe down the line, I could choose to have a children clothing line. But I'll separate it from this current one. So each brand stands with its own identity. The expectations are clear. If you hear the business name from afar, you have an idea of what the business is all about. So, yeah, I think that's...
Okay. Now, despite the fact that specialization has a lot of gains and positive sides to it, some experts still advocate diversity or diversification or versatility. What do you have to say concerning this?
Well, there's the space for diversification. But before I come to that, I'll say that for every business, there is a level of keeping your eyes open.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is you need to know the risks you have per time. If it's a business that is subject to tough government policies, maybe NAFDAC requirements or something like that, and you don't have that, you know that per time you are working on eggshells, anything can happen. If you've put all your risk into consideration in making your decisions and taking your steps, there is no need. What was that word you used?
Is it diversification or versatility?
There is no need to end one to start another.
Okay.
Because you are not being reactive, you are being proactive.
Proactive.
Yes, you are being proactive. Now, so there's a way that people do it when everything is just on the surface. Okay, as we go, if they catch us, we know what to do. But if you put things if you put things in place, and this is going well, then there's room to diversify. So specialization is not preaching against diversification. It's just in saying, take one step at a time. This step that you are on, do it well. Let it stand, let the baby grow, then you can have other babies.
Oh, Motala, you see, like I said earlier now, we have so much to talk about with so little time left in our hands. Very quickly now.
Okay.
Is there any difference at all, or what is the relationship between specialization and niche?
Okay. Normally I should say, let me open the dictionary for that. But I think, a niche, in my opinion, is that you identify a segment of the market that have the same needs, right? So it's more like what they have in common is a particular need. That's what I'll call a niche in my own words. They all have a particular need in common. So if you are doing food business, for example, you are solving the hunger problem. If you are doing snacks, you are solving the peckish problem. That means that you are not waiting for those that are over healthy to take your snacks. You know those people that have sweet tooth, that's what you are targeting. So when it comes to niche, I think it's identifying that problem that you want to solve, and then all those that fall within the radar of those that have that problem will be called a niche in my own terms. Then the second word was?
Specialization.
So now specialization, now it's going to sound like an overused word, but now specialization is in saying, okay, these guys, there is nobody that has just one need, nobody on earth. So the fact that I know that you have 100 needs doesn't mean that I should try to meet all those 100 needs. Because in trying to meet 100 needs of one person, I will lose all the other thousands of people. So if specialization and niche will come together, I'll say that it's in identifying the problem you want to solve, identifying those that fall within that radar, and then specialize in solving that problem. If you know just 100 people that have this problem today, you can be sure that there are 100,000 more people that you don't know, but that have this same problem. When I started off my business, it was funny. The story that made me start off my business was funny, but I'll share it.
Okay, very profound.
So my husband and I we wanted to have my daughter's second or first birthday. I think her second birthday. So we're thinking, do we have a birthday party? Do we not have a birthday party? And then later on we said, no, let's not have a birthday party that she won't remember anyway. Let's just have a competition to see who will get her the biggest toy. Now, this was like 13 years ago. To see who will get her the biggest toy. We had traveled before then, and we know the kind of toys we see when we go to the US. So when we gave ourselves that target, we felt that, I'll buy this, I'll buy that. But then in going around different stores in Lagos, even the hypermarkets and the huge departmental stores, the kind of toys we saw there were really, really disappointing.
Wow.
Were really disappointing. It was in that search that I met somebody who brings in things. So she had good quality stuff, but she didn't specialize. Well, in her way, she specialized because she was doing things for children. But in that store, she had one tricycle, she had clothes, she had baby oil, she had baby food, she had a bit of everything. So good quality stuff, but she had a bit of everything. But either way, she met my need for that period because I got a tricycle from her that was very good quality. My husband, on the other hand, after going round and round, he eventually came back with, I think he came back with a toy phone. That was obviously not even good quality. So, of course, I won that competition. If he's watching me, I'm sure he'll be thinking that, excuse me. Yes, I won. I won that competition. And that just, like, opened us up to the fact that there is a need.
Kind of for you.
Well, yes. And there is a need in the market. If we went to that extent to look for this, that means there are many other parents
who would also
looking for this same thing.
Stuff,
and I have some other people in our industry that I've shared thoughts with, and they also said what brought them into the industry was they saw the gap, that when you want to buy toys for your kids,
you don't find them.
You find a lot of inferior stuff. You don't really find the type you want. So when it comes to niche and specialization, identify the need you want to meet. Everybody is not your customer. So like I said, we've decided on the kind of quality we want to stock, the kind of market we want to appeal to. There have been lots of advisors over the years that, no, why not go to this place? The things they are cheaper. The things, does that meet the area that we said you want to specialize in?
Big question there. Now, just in a sentence, what's your word of advice for entrepreneurs who seem to have apathy for specialization strategy? Just a sentence. In order to encourage them, to try their hands on specialization.
Well, okay, in one sentence, I will say that you could decide to be known for everything or decide to be known for something. Whatever the case is, every business has its own lifespan. Your own period as the head of the business is for a particular time frame. If you are all over the place, you don't have any identity to hold on to. So if there's anything, identify what your core is as a business and build upon it.
Thank you so much, Omotala.
My pleasure.
It's been a pleasure having you around.
Thank you.
And did justice to the topic.
I had a good time. Thank you very much.
She had a good time, I did. What about you? I want to believe that your own response isn't going to be any different from ours. Thank you so much for being part of it all. We're coming back again with another interesting topic on Business 24 here on iBrandTV. I'm Michael Nath. Cheers for now.